How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Chillin' with Death. You got me, Damien Chillin. You got Deathface with us here as well. This is episode 8. Um, this is what you can look forward to in this episode. We're going to talk about, of course, the gaming news that has come out within the last week, couple of days. Not very much, but still something that we kind of caught that we thought was interesting. We're going to talk about games that we've been playing, and then we're going to move on to our main topics as well towards the very end of backlogs and the 3 things that we dislike, or I guess you could say hate, about modern gaming. Deathface, how are you? What you been up to?
I'm good, man. I'm good, chilling. I next week is my first official week, like working on my own, on my new job,
Cool, man.
and it's just a minor hour difference, when I'll be going in, when I'll be getting out. But it's been fun, man. Never had a job like this, before, and it's fun, especially for what I'm doing specifically. I can't really talk too much about it, but like it's just been great. Um, Other than that, man, I've been getting off at work around 10 p.m. So I've been staying up till like 2, sometimes 3. Just
Shit.
gaming or just hanging out, watching gameplay videos or whatever. But
Yeah.
still playing some Expedition. I think I think I'm ready to finish it. I tackled most of the end game stuff,
Hmm.
which you were playing it too, but how you're going around exploring and you would see like the portals and they'll be red,
Yeah.
say like danger.
Yeah.
Uh, None of them are like that on my game anymore, just because I'm so, I guess, so powerful. So it's just
Right.
like I go in there, bro, and I just annihilate everything in front of me, and it's kind of like when I'm sitting there doing that, I'm like, damn, this kind of like ruins the fun, but at the same time, I'm thinking
Right.
like, but you know, I I I deserve this because you know.
Yeah. You worked so hard for it. You went through it before already. Yeah.
Yeah, but there are some end game stuff that I do want to kind of go in there without being overpowered.
Hmm.
Maybe on my second playthrough, because I am planning on doing a second playthrough just to enjoy it again, because it's definitely one of my favorite games I've played. Um,
Awesome.
Other than Expedition, I recently tried out something that you've been telling me to try out for a long time, because you absolutely love this game, which is Cuphead.
Hmm.
And I actually tried it out last night, as when me and you were on call. We're gaming a little bit, and we tried out Cuphead, and it's I played a little bit after you got off. I kept playing,
Okay.
and I finished that first boss,
Oh, nice.
the carrot, and then
Yeah.
I went on to the next boss, and it had some interesting mechanics, like how you're saying the bosses are they all have their own special mechanics to them, and they're all completely different.
Hmm.
And I
Do
thought
you
that
know?
was
Do you know which one it was?
you get on the boat, and it's
The
like those two guys with the boxing
Oh
gloves.
yes, yeah, 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 dude. Oh yeah, yeah.
And I didn't quite beat them, but I got to the the very end of the fight, because how at the end you can see, you know uh
Yeah, yeah. When you die,
yeah, you could see where how far you
if
got in the fight.
if you notice, especially on boss fights, when it shows you like the track of it, each like little post that's like each phase for it. So
Yeah, so I did get to the third phase, but I sold. So
yeah,
um
no, that dude, I wanted to bring it because I don't know if you had gotten there, but that third phase, dude. Oh my god, I don't know which ones you got. You're talking about that slot machine one, right?
mhm.
I don't know which ones you got, but there's one that I fucking hate, and I'll just say it's the one with the tiger on it. Um, if you get it, bro, good luck to you.
Okay.
So that's cool, man. That's cool that you been playing that.
Yeah, that was cool. The art style is definitely crazy, man.
Hmm.
I've been wanting to check this game out for a long time, but so many games that we've been trying to play, and
Hmm.
yeah, I would just forget about it. But it was on sale, so
Yeah.
you know,
Um, yeah. No, like I said, Cuphead is I. If anybody out there hasn't played this game, go play it immediately. If you like a challenge, you will love this game. Like I was telling Death, I told Deathface yesterday that yes, it is a very, very challenging game, but it's one of those games where it is fair, in the sense of like, that if you die, it's your own fault. Um, whether it be on accident or something like that. But go check it out for sure. A very rewarding game. On top of that, too, like I mentioned to you, is that the soundtrack is just really, really good too. And you're gonna see what I'm talking about later on when you get to other levels and other boss fights, especially. Um, what else have you been playing? Sorry.
It's all good. I guess before we get into your your personal, experience with what you've been playing, I guess we
Mm-hmm.
can talk a little bit about we did try out It Takes Two.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about that. We've been wanting to play one of these co-op games, just because I know It Takes Two was game of the year
Mm-hmm.
um, for that year, and it was everywhere when it came out, and it was just something that I really wanted to play. But I mean, you have to you have to have a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot play these games by yourself. These were designed to do co-op. So it's kind of cool that we got a chance to play that. What did you think about it? Because I thought it was pretty cool.
Dude, okay, so I was gonna go more in depth whenever I talked about what I've been playing, but yeah, we'll just get straight to it. It Takes Two, dude. Like you mentioned, something that we've been wanting to play, um, not only for ourselves but also for content. But honestly, I wouldn't say that I had little hope for this game or anything like that. It's not at all what I thought it was going to be, and I mean that in a good way. Like you mentioned it yesterday that you didn't know that it would have like a story like that it does. Um, so I thought that the story, and honestly, we played about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. We did a lot of progress. But what I was going to say, with the time that we played, the story, I do it's pretty sad. I won't get into spoiler territory, but it is pretty sad. I can definitely relate with that for sure, because I mean it does deal with kids, that kind of thing. So pretty sad in that aspect, but then it is also kind of uplifting as well, from what it seems like. um, Gameplay really, really fun. I did not expect it to be so addictive, so fun. Like I said, I had little hope for it, in the sense of, like, I just didn't know what it was going to be about, how it was going to play. So, dude, it's been an awesome time. We're only 2.5 hours in, and I've just been having a really great time with it.
Yeah, man, definitely something that the vibe that I got early on was this game is trying to teach a lesson, you
Yes.
know, and I think that's really cool. Um, while it's doing that, it's 100% nailing all the gameplay aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
The co-op stuff. I mean, a lot of it is very simple, but it's just cool when you get past a certain part, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
satisfying because then you want to know what's next. What are we gonna see next? Because we did get into that point on the second chapter. I think it's we're near the tree, and you just
Mm-hmm.
fall into this like completely different world, and we are just like, this is all in the tree, like
Yeah,
where did this come
yeah.
from?
I kept asking, like, we're in this, and this is what's in here. Yeah.
And yeah, dude, it was nothing how I expected. I mean, to be fair, I wanted to avoid as much possible spoilers that I could
Mm-hmm.
on It Takes Two when it did drop, because eventually I knew I wanted to play it.
Right.
um And then also that's the same thing with Split Fiction. I'm avoiding a lot of stuff on there about that game because I do want to go in there and play it. And I did see, of course, you cannot escape anything, especially if you're just on the phone and you're following a lot of gaming channels and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be out there, but I kind of just tend to forget about all of it. But
Yeah.
sitting down and actually playing it yesterday, first time, it was definitely fun, and I can't wait to get back into it. I
Yeah. I
can
can't wait.
definitely see why it was game of the year.
Yeah, I can't wait to get back into it too. And I was just gonna mention, dude, I can't believe not only me, or I'm sorry, not only us playing it together, I can't believe that I in general just held off on it for so long. It is crazy that this game just slipped under my radar, but I'm glad that we're not only experiencing it, but both of us together are experiencing it. Now, if you guys don't have it, that's totally okay. As far as if you have Game Pass, it's on there, or if you know somebody with Game Pass and they want to play it, you can play it with them. You don't have to purchase it or anything like that. They can just send you an invite. Boom, easy as that. And same thing probably for the PlayStation as well. Um, yeah, so It Takes Two has been a lot of fun. Besides that, me personally, what I have been playing is I just been playing a lot more on my Switch 2, but more in particular the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Still continuing with that. I know I might have mentioned it at the last episode or something like that, but I was mentioning how it's a pretty big game that I'm surprised at what the game does. Now, I did play this on my Switch 1. I didn't complete it though. I wasn't even anywhere near completing it. I was still in the beginning, you could say. And I still kind of am like that right now. When I texted you about the fact that I haven't done any of the main quest stuff, it's not that I'm purposely not doing it. It's just I am genuinely lost. I'm literally just like walking around, running around, trying to figure out, okay, well, if I don't know where the main quest is, I guess I'll just do some shrines, that kind of thing. But what I wanted to bring up about the game is that, dude, I did not know how humongous this thing is. This map, this world. Uh, Up until maybe like a couple of days ago, I knew about the sky levels. I did not know that it was like a lower depth part of the levels. Um,
You didn't?
no, I did not
Oh
know
wow.
that. That dude, I remember finding this out because those towers that you can find that like unlocks or not unlocks but shows you more of the map, and you
Yeah.
get launched up in the sky. So I did one of them. I got launched up in the sky. I knocked out the sky level. I did the shrine that was up there. Afterwards, I jumped off and I was. Right now, what I'm doing is just going to each of those towers so I can unlock more of the map. Um, so when I did that for one of them, I was going down and I saw the red swirl circles, and I was like, what's in there? Because I've seen them, but I just never like actually went up to them. I figured that it was a danger zone, so I actually like started flying down towards it. I saw there was like a fucking crater or a hole, and I was like, what the fuck? So I go in there, and then sure enough, like my entire screen starts turning black. I thought I was gonna die, and then I saw like the name of the map or whatever. I was like, dude, no fucking way. There's more to this. And
Yeah.
literally for like one of the nights that I was playing, that's all I played was just that underground level part of it, just trying to get the more of the map to show. I don't know if you did them, but yeah, you can go to the like shrines, I guess, to unlock more of it. So that's what I was doing, and dude, it was so hard because that red goo, whatever, it like takes away your hearts. So it
Mhm.
was very hard to avoid them. At the time, I didn't have my stamina wheel like filled up all the way. So I knocked out some shrines so I can get more stamina. That's what I've been mostly using the shrine, the the blessings for is for the stamina. So anyways, but just been playing Tears of the Kingdom. It's insane. I can already tell that I'm gonna have a really good time with it, and I haven't even done any of the main quest, so I'm really looking forward to the story for it. Besides that, I also purchased Cuphead because I have it on everything. I have it on PlayStation, I have it on Xbox, I even have it on the Switch. Don't have it on the PC though, so I purchased it. It was on sale for $13.99, I believe, and I mean, I can really go on all day about this game. It's just a ton of fun. I already have beat it on all platforms except for PC, so that's why I purchased it. And plus, I wanted like a little break from like the bigger titles, so I can play something a little small. And then of course there is It Takes Two, which we already spoke about. Great game, highly recommend it. Go and check it out. So that's what I've been up to. Next section we're going to move on to is the gaming news, and this is one of the first ones that I did want to go over, just because this was kind of like the most interesting one for me, or for us, I guess you could say. That being that Capcom did have a showcase that mostly talked, well, not mostly, but they talked about Resident Evil 9, they talked about Pragmata. I think they also talked about Monster Hunter Wilds, but then a bunch of their other games too, or current ongoing games. But I will say Resident Evil 9 and Pragmata, at least to me, were like the only interesting ones. So first we have Resident Evil 9. They gave us little small tidbit updates, which I was a little upset, but I mean, I get it. The game's not even out until February, so it would suck to know all this stuff and then just having to wait up until then. But some news tidbits that we did get from that was it is set 30 years after the Raccoon City nuke or missile, you could call it. Um, they did say that they are emphasizing a lot on the horror, which is really good to know because they did the same thing with Resident Evil 7. Deathface, I know you said you haven't played Resident Evil 7, right?
I haven't played it, but I've seen a walkthrough.
Oh, okay. So, um, I mean, if you've seen the walkthrough, then I guess you understand that. Yeah, when
Yeah.
they went back to the horror roots on Resident Evil 7, dude, they really went back there. So I'm really looking forward to them doing this with this one again. Resident Evil 8 Village, it was still kind of there, but it definitely felt a lot more like a Resident Evil 4 Part 2, which is not a bad thing. But again, looking forward to the horror emphasis on it because I did say that the main character, Grace, she is like terrified of everything. So looking forward to see how that goes with her. She's just like a normal human being, so that'd be really cool to finally get back to that realism of it. They did also say that Leon was almost the main lead, but with the emphasis on horror, they didn't feel like it would make sense for him to be the main protagonist because we all know how Leon is, especially with Resident Evil 4. That dude, after Resident Evil 2, Raccoon City, the first incident, he went through it all, he experienced it, and just made him tougher. And like I said, in Resident Evil 4, you can definitely see that. So I totally get why they didn't go with him. Um, and then we also got to look at both first person and third person view of how you can switch on the fly, which I think the third person looks cool, but I think the first person also looks really great too, especially since we're going back to the horror roots. First person looks like it would be the main way to go.
Yeah, dude. It was really cool to see that first person, that third person view, because I mean, I feel like the first person is always going to be the scariest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Third person is just, I mean, that's cool too. But everybody wanted a third person. They want them to go back into
Yeah.
the third person over the shoulder, and that's cool. But if I were to sit down and play this, I mean, I'll try out the third person, but I think I would stick in first person. And then if I do want to get some of that the OG kind of Resident Evil 4 type thing, Resident Evil 2, the remakes, definitely do third person. But I did want
Mm-hmm.
to kind of talk about a little bit about the main character, Grace. I did also see that, yeah, she's very jumpy. She's
Yeah.
very terrified, right? Normal human being, never having to experience stuff that she's gonna experience in this
Yeah.
game. But at the same time, they did kind of point out that I mean, she is with the FBI, so she does have training with guns and all that too. So
Yes. Yeah.
I I know in I don't know how 7 or 8 were because I didn't physically play them, but in terms of the weapon using like the weapons, like
Mm-hmm.
the shotguns or the pistols, how was that? Did it feel like he didn't know what he was doing, or
Well, and that's the thing with when they emphasized on that she's just a normal human person being whatever. Uh, Without getting into spoilers, I mean, same thing with Resident Evil 7 and 8. Ethan was a normal dude too, so I don't really see why they emphasize so much on Grace being that person as well. But to answer your question, um, I mean, he knew what to do with the weapons. Um, like not only the way you play as him, but the way he encountered these weapons. Like he'll come across a weapon, he'll say something like, "Oh, useful," something like that.
Mhm.
So to answer your question, uh, I think I guess Ethan had a little bit more quote unquote experience with weapons and that kind of thing, or not more experience, but I think he was probably about the same as maybe Grace, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see with Grace.
Yeah, and honestly too, that there's I feel like since you said that it was kind of, you felt like he's kind of on the same level as Grace. Of course, they're just wanting to explain more of the game and the character and what to expect.
Hmm.
So I thought that was cool. Another thing about Leon almost being the main protagonist of this game. I mean, they obviously it's confirmed he won't be, but I was looking at a lot of discussions under the videos of the trailers and stuff. People are like, "Well, they said he's not going to be the protagonist. They never said anything else about him."
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll see what happens. We'll see what they might do. If
Hmm.
they might, what heard somebody say, if they might do what was in Resident Evil in 8, where Chris popped up or something.
Yes.
I know
Yeah.
that was spoilers, but I mean that's been out for a while already.
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of, you never know. You never know what they're gonna do. So I'm just excited for that game, man. Definitely gonna play this one. I know I missed on the last two, but maybe I'll pick them up. They're on sale right now. So
Yeah. Yeah. Really looking forward to Resident Evil 9. So hope everybody is as well. The next one that we're going to talk about is Pragmata. Um, I'm not going to say too much about this, other than from what I saw, it does look really cool in terms of like it's something different for sure. Deathface, I'm not sure if you saw the entire thing for this, but like I said, it looks really cool. It looks a lot different than what like Capcom typically does. Um, they explained it as a action puzzle game where, gosh, I think they said that they were stuck in Mars or just in space in general, and the main mission is to try to get back to Earth. And of course, you have Diana. I forget what her android name is, whatever, but he calls her Diana. Um, but yeah, again, action puzzle game. Looking forward to see like what kind of puzzles they have and how they kind of combine the both of being action and puzzle. The combat looks intriguing, but I can also see myself getting pretty annoyed with it because they do show gameplay of it, and basically the robot enemy, he's armored up the entire time, and there's like certain times where he kind of opens up after you do like a puzzle sequence on him to be able to shoot him once he actually opens up. Um, so again, I can see that being annoying. I saw that you can voluntarily take a while to figure out the puzzle when you're fighting an enemy. That way, you can do a lot more damage. So really looking forward to see how true that is, how much more damage, that kind of thing. They did also reiterate that it is coming out in 2026. So we got something else to look forward to in 2026.
Yeah, dude, I saw that whole combat system, and I felt the same way. I'm like, it's cool. It's real unique. It's real cool.
Mm-hmm.
How you're gonna be in the middle of combat and you have to solve these puzzles to take off their shield, and kind of how you said, you voluntarily take a little bit longer. That way you can do more damage to them. I think you have to unlock more of those. I forgot what they called them, but um, something on the puzzle you unlock. You hit more of those little points or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll help you to do a lot more damage. But for me, I would definitely see that as being kind of annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we'll see. We won't know until we actually get our hands on it, and so maybe it's fun. Maybe it's not as what do you call it? It's not
Complicated as we
yeah,
think.
yeah. It's not as complicated, and it's not as like you won't get your ass kicked if
You're right.
like if you fuck up once or
That
twice or
yeah,
something.
I didn't even think about that. Like, yeah, what happens if you mess up? I mean, is there a way to mess up? And on top of that, I wasn't paying attention to what was happening in the background. I was more focused on like the puzzle part of it. Do the enemies like still move towards you? I didn't notice that.
I think it's slow motion,
Oh,
definitely.
okay,
It
okay,
does slow it down. It's like a little slow motion animation they do.
okay.
But it looks real cool, man. I feel like it's gonna feel real smooth, jumping around, because you do have to like platform a little bit in this game. That
Mm,
from what I saw, with your little jetpacks, and then the Diana, she's like a little hacker, so she can hack. I think she can actually hack doors and stuff like that, and
yeah.
even the robots. Well, she's the one actually doing the hacking, right?
Hmm.
And you have to do the puzzle. So it's really unique. It's something a lot different than what we've been getting these, you know, couple years in gaming.
Yeah.
A lot of the gaming we've been getting is hack and slash, Dark Souls stuff. So it's kind of cool to see a switch up there.
Yeah, yeah. So that was really kind of it for the Capcom thing. Like I said, those were the things that mostly caught our interest. Other than that, there were just little tiny things. Um, like I said, they also did talk about Monster Hunter Wilds, which I explained this to Deathface. I am so tired of seeing that game. I was just so tired of seeing that game before it even came out. Literally every freaking like press conference or like event, that game just always had to be in there, which I've played. It's cool, but anyways, next up we have there's a new game announcement called Blood Message, and this came out of nowhere. I just logged on social media one day. I saw it on there. It caught my interest because it looked really, really good as far as graphics wise. So I checked it out, and what I picked up from it, it looks a lot like God of War and Assassin's Creed gameplay. The God of War aspect of like what would you call it? Over the shoulder, like really close up though, but
Yeah.
also kind of behind the back. The combat, like I said, is well, not the combat, but it looks like Assassin's Creed as far as combat, but also God of War 2, God of War as well. A lot of people said that it also kind of reminds them of Uncharted. I didn't really see that, but sure. I mean, I hope that's the case. It's set in, gosh, what was it, like old China times, something like that. So looking forward to see more about this game.
Yeah, it looked cool. I was actually looking at the trailer before you got on to for a little refresher because I did see this when it got announced, and I looked at it real quick and I didn't really pay too much attention, so I had to go back and look at it. But yeah, definitely. And I feel like when people say Uncharted, I think they're talking about how the movement. Like I did see a part where they're, I don't know, scaling. You know, there's like a scaling uh, sequence that they go through. They're like jumping over stuff
Oh,
and
okay,
stuff like that.
okay,
So maybe that's what they're talking about. But I do see the Assassin's Creed and the
yeah,
God of War stuff in there. It looks really cool. Um, it's gonna be more what do you call it? More personal when when you're up and close with the enemies,
yeah, yeah,
and I feel like it's gonna add a lot of realistic elements to the combat, and it's gonna be kind of cool to see.
yeah.
I'm excited for the gameplay reveal.
Yeah, look, like I said, looks cool. I didn't see or remember if there was a release date. I mean, I don't know, but looking forward to hearing more about the game itself. Next up, we have the more of movie news, but another movie here, Street Fighter. It has a movie that's coming out for it. The last time we had a Street Fighter movie was in the early, maybe late 90s with Jean Claude Van Damme. I personally haven't seen it, but I've heard that it's not really worth the watch. But the updates that we have are for the characters of Ryu, Chun Li, Ken, Vega, Blanca, Barlog, and Akuma. I'm not really too familiar with Street Fighter, unfortunately. If anything, I would say I started with Street Fighter 4. Even then, there wasn't much time. Street Fighter 5, I did try it out, and I have yet to try out Street Fighter 6. But I know the characters. So the main ones that I wanted to point out was three of them. That is Blanca, who is played by Jason Momoa, aka Aquaman, and I believe this is his second movie or video game movie, with it being Minecraft and then now Street Fighter. Barlog, which has 50 Cent portraying him, which is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. He's I don't know if it's him or somebody else, but he's is involved in some stuff video game related. So this is really cool to see him portraying a character in Street Fighter. And then we have Akuma, who's being portrayed by Roman Reigns, which, if you guys don't know, he's a WWE wrestler, one of the biggest WWE wrestlers at the time, or for the time being. So it'd be really cool to see his portrayal on it. What do you think about the Street Fighter movie?
That's pretty cool. I wasn't expecting to see 50 Cent in a Street Fighter
Yeah,
movie, but
yeah,
because I know I played the 50 Cent Bulletproof games back in the
hmm
day. You know when he made those, and for him to be in the game, that being Street Fighter,
yeah,
that's badass, man. I mean, I'm all
yeah,
for it. Um, I'm kind of like with you. Didn't play much Street Fighter growing up, or even recent. Um, I always liked, looking at it,
yeah.
watching gameplay of it, but I just never gravitated towards actually playing Street Fighter. So
hmm
I am not very too knowledgeable on the Street Fighter, even the characters. I mean, some of the characters I sound familiar, but I don't pay attention enough to really. Um, I mean, I'll watch it, but
Yeah,
I'm not
I
like, oh my
just
god.
right. No, I get it. I just think that it's cool. I was going to bring this up too. I just think that it's cool that we are getting a Street Fighter movie. One, it's a fighting game becoming into a movie, but then also it's another video game movie. We've had some really good hits with live action video game stuff. Ones that I can come up with off the top of my head. Well, some live action, some animated. Ones that I come off at the top of my head is Fallout, the TV series, which I've heard is really, really good. We've had Super Mario movie, which is good. We've had the Mortal Kombat movie, which they're actually coming out the sequel, I believe, this year, maybe next year. We also have some great animation like that. I'm sure you've seen some of it, Deathface, the Secret Level. I think it was on Amazon.
Hmm.
Um, it just kind of goes over like little stories for each character and the video game surface. So yeah, we've just had a really good portrayal on video game stuff coming to live action and animated. So this is going to be probably another one that'll be up there with the greats. Next up, we have Death Stranding 2. It finally came out. The long-awaited sequel for this has finally come out to really positive reviews. I'm not going to get too much into it just because I have kind of seen, I wouldn't say spoilers, because I saw something and somebody said in the comments of, what's crazy is that everybody calls this a spoiler, but seeing this without any context, you are still wondering what the fuck is going on, which is true because I saw this clip of the game and I genuinely asked myself, what the fuck is going on? Looks really cool. It looks a lot like still Death Stranding 1, which I will admit, I played maybe about 4 or 5 hours of Death Stranding 1. I believe I got up to like chapter 5. And I'm not hating on the game or nothing like that, but it's just it wasn't for me. Maybe I have to give it another try. I don't know. I think back then I was kind of still in the craze of like PvP games, that kind of thing. So maybe that's kind of what I was expecting. On top of that, I remember when Death Stranding first got announced. This was right after, or not right after, but a little after Kojima had unfortunately had to cancel PT, aka Silent Hills. So I was still hoping that it would get that same vibe on Death Stranding. And maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe I just hadn't gone to that part yet or something. But Death Stranding 2 at least has some really good reviews, and it seems like it's a lot like Death Stranding 1, which I know that there's a huge fan base for Death Stranding 1. So looking forward to see how it does, after a couple of months. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a contender for Game of the Year. Deathface, give me your thoughts.
Oh, definitely, bro. Definitely a contender for Game of the Year. Um, I really want to play this game. I played Death Stranding 1 when it came out,
Mm-hmm.
and it sucks to say this, but I do not remember if I beat it or not.
I was
I
just about to
know
ask.
I know I put in 30, 40, I don't know. I know I put in 40 to 50 hours into Death Stranding 1, but I just cannot remember if I beat it. But I loved that game. The atmosphere was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do a lot of walking, but it was just one of the chillest experience I've ever had in
Right.
a game.
And it does look like, I'm glad you brought that up because it does have great atmosphere from what the clips that I've seen, not only on part one but also part two.
I loved how in Death Stranding 1, if you haven't played it, you're just walking, doing your thing, you're delivering packages, trying to get the United States all connected up again. And you're just walking, man, and then you just see these great landscapes, and then music just starts playing, and you're just there, just taking it in and listening to the music, and it's such a good vibe. Um, but for part two, man, I really really want to play it. I'm holding off on it a little bit. I'm avoiding a lot of spoilers. I did think that clip that you're talking about, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is going on here?" Like, I didn't realize that it was an actual game, but sure enough, it is. Uh, but I am kind of waiting because I do eventually want to go back and finish Death Stranding 1 because, like I said, man, I just can't remember if I finished it, and then that's just me being a dumbass, I guess. Uh, but yeah, dude, definitely this for me. If they're saying it's good as as they're saying, definitely this one's up there between Expedition 33 for Game of the Year. I know there's a few games that other people want to put up there, and that's
Mm-hmm.
cool, but I really feel like it's either this or Expedition 33 as of right now.
Yeah. Well.
Because I mean, for him, for all the negativity that Death Stranding has as a whole, for it just being a walking simulator,
Yeah.
and it comes out and it's just this massive thing. I see a lot of positive. I see way more positive than I see negative stuff. Because all the negative stuff is like, oh, it's just a walking simulator. Like, okay, what else can you say? Well, instead of just saying the
Right.
constant, it's just a walking simulator.
Right.
And while it is, and the if you just really want to say it and give it a label, but it's more than that. Just if you ever have a chance, just take, like, maybe like you just set aside a couple hours the day, you try it out. If you don't like it, and you don't like it, it's not for you, move on. But if you just feel something when you're just walking and hearing this music and seeing these crazy landscapes, and you feel the vibe of it, you're gonna understand why this is such a great game. a great series, and you're gonna understand why that a lot of people have a lot of love for it. With that being, with it just being quote unquote a walking simulator.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. Now you're kind of giving me hope to try it out again. I mean, it is on sale right now, so we'll see if I do eventually come across it again. I am more of a chillax gamer now. Like I said at the time, I was kind of more of like everything has to be PvP type of thing. So
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe I'll give it another shot. Like I said, it's on sale, so tempting. Next up, little small thing, we have PSN. They celebrate 15 years. Crazy to think we just talked about this right before we got on. Crazy to think that 15 years ago we had to start paying for online. Um, they came out with it on PS3, and PS3 was known for having free online play, which that was a cool thing about PS3. Even after PSN came out, you could still, not have PSN and still play for free online. I think back then it was just more of like to get exclusive deals, I believe is what it was. A little bit more maybe online features, capabilities, that kind of thing. So PSN celebrating 15 years. Crazy to think that it's already been 15 years. I wonder if they're gonna do anything as far as like, I don't know, give out a game or some shit. We'll see.
Yeah, it is crazy because I remember that's one reason why because I had an Xbox 360 when I
Mm-hmm.
first started playing Call of Duty multiplayer, and a lot of my friends had PlayStation. I'm like, oh well, I want to play with my friends, so that's the reason why I got a PlayStation. Plus, also it was free at the time, and it kind of sucks seeing PlayStation kind of go backwards because it was free. Then you had
Yeah.
to, of course, you had to pay, and we all got used to it. And then one cool thing that I loved about PlayStation PSN was there was no taxes. Remember that? For the longest time, we didn't have to pay taxes on any
Yes.
games. And
Yes.
then they had the PlayStation the movie store on there, so you can buy all your favorite
Mm-hmm.
movies that are coming out.
Yep.
And then probably a handful of other stuff. Um, but then they took away where now you have to pay taxes. So you have to pay the regular sales tax, which I understand, but it was just so nice for the
Yeah.
longest
Right.
time not
Yeah.
to have to pay sales tax. And then one day I was bored and I was like, I'm gonna see what movies that they got on the PlayStation. So I opened up and I was trying to find the movie tab and they took it out. And then I looked it up, or sure enough, that they took it out because people were utilizing the streaming
Yeah.
um, services, and I understand all that. I get it. And they said whatever movies you have, you're still gonna have or whatever.
Yeah.
One thing that I do not like about that is you have to be online to be able to watch those movies. Just stupid. Uh, but
It's
but
funny you say that about the movies because my dad was really pissed that they took away that storefront for the movies.
dude,
Because yeah, he
yeah,
he got used to it. He bought a shit ton of movies on there. Like he stopped buying Blu-rays, that kind of stuff. He went strictly to PSN store for them because they do have
yeah,
good deals on them, dude.
yeah, they did, man. I have all the John Wicks on there except for four. Uh, I have a lot of. Well, I was planning on just that was my collection, right? I wanted to keep buying and buying and buying movies on there, but then
Hmm.
after a while, I just decided to check in. Sure enough, they got rid of it, and that's all cool. I mean, I get it, but I just feel like, especially recently with the news that they did with PS Plus, I don't we didn't really talk about that, but maybe we can talk about it right now. They kind of they're not doing what is it, first party releases on PS Plus,
Yeah.
day ones.
Hmm.
And then when you turn around and you see Game Pass doing it, they've been doing it, and it's kind of
Hmm.
like. And then also too, they're going away with PS4 games on PS Plus. They're taking
Yeah.
away the PS4 catalog.
Yes. You're
And
talking about like when they give out the free monthly games,
the
or
the PS Plus games that are available to play for free.
right, right.
They're taking away the PlayStation 4 games, which to me that's crazy.
Because I mean, PS4 is still really big.
Yeah, so that's kind of like why I say they keep taking a step backwards on trying to make their services great. And I don't know. I mean, still enjoyed their games and their services, but a lot of that I feel like is just taking a step backwards sometimes. And to me, I'm just kind of confused as to why that is when they got Xbox kind of going above and beyond, it seems like these past few years, it's just weird. It's just a weird thing to see in the gaming industry right now.
Well, I mean, I guess the reason being, or the simple reason being, is because people are still purchasing it. I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
guess you gotta go where the money is, in PlayStation's eyes, I guess. All right, last news tidbit we have here: Black Ops 7. So Black Ops 7 had some leaked images for their message of the day. Some people were able to log into Black Ops 6, I believe, or just Call of Duty in general. And you know how sometimes it says message of the day when you first sign in? Well, in this case, somebody or some people logged in. They had images of Black Ops 7, that being just kind of like generic, you know, players in the map, uh, equipment, that kind of thing showing off in the images. On top of that, too, they also had description for a game mode, which you said it was called Skirmish, right?
Yeah.
A new game mode called Skirmish that is 20v20. But the good news, well, not good news, but just another news tidbit in general, is that the designer, or a designer of Black Ops 7, did say that if you enjoyed Black Ops 2, and especially Black Ops 2 competitive, then we will definitely have a good time with Black Ops 7, which I really do hope that's the case, because I did have a good time with Black Ops 6, but then I'm not too sure what happened. I guess we just got burnt out on it or something like that. So I'm really looking forward to hoping that if we liked Black Ops 2, Black Ops 7 will be a good time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like for Black Ops 6, there's a lot of problems that it has that just weren't being addressed. They weren't being fixed.
Yep.
Connectivity problems,
Oh my God. Yeah.
the especially when you're on Warzone, the hit registration was just awful. Sometimes will be. I mean, I know you could uh, relate to this. You'll be dead center with your sniper pointing at somebody that just wouldn't land this shot, and to me it's just insane
Eh,
how much that
Yep.
really affected us. It didn't seem to affect other players, but
Yeah. No kidding.
but that game, I mean, it's fun. It's fun to hop in it and play, but I do hope that Black Ops 7 is they're gonna really address a lot of the main issues that were going on with Black Ops 6. And if they're saying that if we enjoy Black Ops 2, man, Black Ops 2 was probably one of my favorite experiences with the Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
I know that goes for you as well. Had a lot of fun playing Black Ops 2. One of my favorite games. If it's anything like that, man, I'm excited. We're gonna definitely gonna go in there and try it out and see what it's all about, and then we'll see if it's living up to how they're saying.
Yeah. I mean, either way, regardless, we're gonna play it. It's on Game Pass, so why not?
Yeah.
Why not play a free game rather than spending what I wouldn't doubt if that thing is $80.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see. Definitely take advantage of the free game on Game Pass. One last thing I did want to bring up. This is getting a lot of flack for it, but and I sent you a picture of this. They're coming out with a bundle for Black Ops 6 Season 4 Reloaded, whatever. That bundle being Beavis and Butthead. Um, a lot of people are hating on it, and I get it. It's the same argument all the time of this isn't Call of Duty anymore, yada yada yada. But I think some bundles should get an exception, especially something like Beavis and Butthead. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's cool. And you did send me that picture of the zombies comparison. And like this is what zombies was back then. This is how zombies now. It's just a
Yep.
whole bunch of animated Beavis and Butthead characters on there. That shit's funny. But
Yeah.
that's really badass that they brought them in, because for me and you, those are some of our favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand the criticism that everybody's giving it, because it is just kind of out there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I get
but
it.
it's cool though. It's still cool that they're in a Call of Duty. It's cool to
So
see.
so the next last two things we want to get into, these are going to be kind of like the main, well, not main, but just some talking points that me and Deathface, things that we usually come across personally, that we want to talk about, that we're passionate about, that kind of thing. So one of the first subjects is a backlog. We all have them, whether we're afraid to admit it or not. We all have a backlog. um, so Deathface, go ahead and take the lead on backlog, on what you want to talk about with it.
Yeah, basically with the whole Steam sale. that's going on right now. I am seeing a lot of people talk about the good deals that are on Steam,
Mhm.
and a lot of some people mentioning here's here's another list of games that you can put in your backlog. It's just like, all right, let's see what they got. But you know there is just not enough time in the day to get through a lot of these games, especially somebody like me who kind of put down gaming for a while
Yeah.
and wasn't consistent with it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was playing a lot of the major titles, as they came out throughout the years, but I wasn't going off and playing these one-off titles, like recent Cuphead or something like, I mean, I've only played a little bit of Hollow Knight, but just like smaller indie titles like that,
Yeah.
I never saw myself playing a game like that. Like, no, dude, I just need a gun in my hand. Just give me a gun in my hand and I'll go play. But now
Yeah.
that I'm really dedicating a lot of time to this, there's so many games that I wish I could have played. And then seeing these sales go on everywhere, not just Steam, but just on Epic Games, they have sales, everywhere. Um, it, there's so many games that I want to buy, but I have to pick and choose because I'm going to spend all this money and they're just going to sit there.
Yeah.
And when am I going to have the time to play these games? Um, with all that negative stuff being said, but it's like one of the greatest problems you can have because, like I was telling you, it's like an endless supply of games
Yeah.
that we can play for until we die. So it's a very interesting subject. Having the backlog, it's good, but there's definitely some negatives in there because there's too much to get to.
Yeah. So I'm going to kind of piggyback off of everything you said. I did want to throw in that I'll admit the word backlog, it's a mixed word for me, is or mixed emotions for me, because yes, it's annoying to hear that a lot of the time. Like, I hate when people say the word, "Oh, I have a backlog." "Oh, I have a backlog," just because it's like, to me, it's like, why? So what? Um, now that I hear the word backlog too, it kind of scares me, because same thing like how you said, you kind of have to pick and choose what you want, that kind of thing. So the word backlog does kind of scare me, but also annoy me a little bit, because it's like, I can do what I want with my money. If I see a good deal, I'm going to do it. I should not, well, not me personally, but people should not be judged on uh, people purchasing more and more games, that kind of thing. Because yeah, you're absolutely right. There's not a lot of time in a day, in the week, whatever the case is, to not only complete these games, but to be able to go from game to game each day. Like you've said it perfectly. Smaller games like Cuphead, Hollow Knight, a lot of the Metroidvanias. There's a ton of them, and there's a ton of good ones. So it'd be really cool to finally get a chance to be able to go through them. And the same thing with me. I go through the main type, like the main big AAA games. I might not complete them right then and there, but for me, also another thing with backlog is also FOMO, fear of missing out. So that's why I also play a lot of the bigger titles, because everybody is playing that, everybody is talking about it. So, like you said, well, you said it a bit ago about being on social media and seeing spoilers. That's my main thing. Is I play the main AAA games first, because yeah, I don't want to see spoilers or anything like that. So that being said, backlog, I it's a good problem to have, but it also can be annoying sometimes, because it just kind of discourages you to even want to try something else, especially when it's on sale. Because there are, usually with Steam in the summer, they do have a lot of good sales all the time. Um, but that's my take on backlog there. Um, did you want to add anything else?
No, no, I think you wrapped it up pretty good there.
Um, Next, last one that we have are three things that we dislike about modern gaming. I think a lot of people can go on and on about a list of these, but we're just going to pick out three. And these are pretty much the main big ones for us. Um, so, first one is, nowadays games are just coming out incomplete. We all know it. As soon as we boot up the game, so a lot of people are seeing with just crashes and that kind of thing, uh, graphic issues, bugs, all that kind of stuff. Back then, and I'm not trying to be one of those, back in my day, but back then, a game that came out, it was complete. There was no, I guess I'll just kind of get into the next subject here. There was no constant updates on games. There was no such thing as that back then. You just kind of had to live through it. Or if the developers did a good job, they would ensure that those things are not there to begin with. And I get it now, there's a lot of crunch time that they have to do, that kind of stuff. But that's just the one thing. That's just one of the things that we really hate about this about modern gaming is just the fact of games are coming out incomplete. I mean, there's it's still going on nowadays, and it's crazy because it's coming out from AAA studios too, and then constant updates. And then the last thing here is there's no more games on the disc. I know it's been going on for quite a bit now, but it's just becoming more and more of a thing, especially with physical media kind of dying. There's really no point, I guess, now technically to own physical media because you only get about maybe like a gig on the disc, and then the rest you have to download online, that kind of thing. I know that the big ones for sure about no games on the disc was I believe Indiana Jones, doing the Dark Ages, and then now with Nintendo Switch, basically every Nintendo Switch 2 game except for I think maybe Mario Kart World and Cyberpunk. So those are the things that we dislike for modern gaming. If you want to continue off of that.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out. I think another one that didn't get a physical was Black Myth Wukong, right?
Well, yes and no. It didn't come out physical at first. Now they are having physicals,
Oh, okay.
but same thing. It's just a disc with like so and so many hundred megabytes, and then of course you have to download the rest.
Yeah, cause Switch they do. Sometimes
Virch,
they
they
just
do
throw the codes in there, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. See, that's crazy because I remember when they first introduced this whole digital thing. Because I still wanted to get physical copies.
Hmm.
I was like, no, I want to have my physical copy. I like to collect disc. I, s- I had a collection of DVDs, games. I had a big PS2 collection. I don't know what happened to it, but kind of sucks that I don't have that no more. But anyways, um, when they first kind of came out with that, I was still buying the physical copies, but I didn't realize that you put the disc in, and then you still had to download the game.
Hmm.
So in my eyes, I was like, dude, what was the point of buying this? Like it didn't make sense to buy a physical copy anymore. And me over here buying, the PlayStation 5 with the disc in it, it's kind of just pointless at this point. You know, um, it's kind of sad because I do like collecting the physical stuff, but when you're in this when we're in this age now, it's just like, well, it's pointless anyway. So why go and buy those physical copies unless
Hmm.
you're like a real collector, like that
Yeah.
that is your passion to collect physical stuff, and that's cool. One thing I did want to say about the games coming out, um,
Incomplete.
yeah, incomplete or with constant updates, or I mean, we're a victim to that. We play Destiny. I mean, when that game first came out, we finished the story, we finished all like the main missions, and then there was just like the weeklies to get through. And then year after year, we're spending more money and more money and more money and more money to get
Hmm.
the new DLCs, the season pass, and it's just how much money have we spent on Destiny alone? We've bought like what 5 6 games just playing Destiny, and
Yeah.
I get it because I didn't expect Destiny 2 to go on that long. I didn't know it was gonna be a whole
Right. Like it's
uh
just like one game just constantly being updated.
yeah, but I mean we gave into it. We give into that game because we do love that game, but yeah, it just sucks, man. I'm that's why I'm scared to buy new games nowadays. Um,
Yeah. Yep.
because I don't want to buy this game and then it's not running, it's crashing. Graphics are too buggy. Like that's why recently I've been waiting a couple weeks before I buy a new game. Um,
Well, that's the
like
shitty part too. Is that it shouldn't have to be that way.
yeah, it shouldn't, but it just scares you because even with the AAA titles, it's you can't you and then you see all these people playing them, and then but at the same time you don't want to get that copy that just I don't know, you're just having so many bugs on it. So it's just like hit or miss, and it's just there's a lot going on now with the modern gaming. So much that we can talk about that definitely, and that isn't like what we used to experience, back in the day. Just going to the store, with the manuals. You used to open the case and you used to sit there and read the manuals on the way home and just
Yeah.
so excited to play it. Now, you know, you just download all these games and then you just start playing them. But of course, you have to wait like 2 hours, one
Yeah.
1 to 2 hours, depending on the internet, depending on the size of the updates.
Hmm.
Updates every time you log in is can get annoying, especially for a game like Call of Duty
Yep.
or a big
Yep.
game like that. 'Cause you're trying to hop on with your friends, and then hey, my bad, dude, I got to update. I got to wait 40
Dude,
minutes.
no kidding. Yep. Yep. So that's our take on modern gaming. I mean, we could definitely go on more and more, but I mean, I think everybody can relate to the ones that we talked about for sure. That's kind of where it all starts for disliking modern gaming, I guess you could say. Um, Again, this is kind of towards the end of the episode already. A little bit on, well, I wouldn't say on the shorter side, but shorter for sure than the last couple of episodes. Thanks everybody for tuning in all the time, listening to us. Make sure to share around with everybody. Leave us some comments in our social medias, that kind of thing. Deathface, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram, deathface underscore, uh, Twitch, Lord Leprosy, and then you can check us out on YouTube, chilling with death.
So
Uh,
same here. You can find me on Instagram, Damien Chillin. You can also follow our podcast Instagram, Chilling with Death. Same thing with YouTube, Chilling with Death, which Deathface is gonna go ahead and try to upload this episode a little bit more closely to our when we upload this episode on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Um, Besides that, yeah, you can listen to it here: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Um, oh, follow. Go ahead and check me out on TikTok as well, as I also do post clips from the episodes on there as well. Just trying to reach more of an audience to get some more listeners in. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in all the time. We appreciate it. Like I said, share, subscribe, whatever, the whole 9 yards. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
oh yeah, later.